Hey, what's up guys, TBL here. Finally bringing you some Battlefield Hardline gameplay on the PlayStation 4. I have been playing a ton of Hardline over the past couple of days, been having a lot of fun with it. It's a really fun game for me. And I've just been enjoying some of the new game modes, trying to unlock some things, and overall just having a really great time. The video you're seeing here is a little bit of the Heist mode. As you can see here, I am playing on the side of the police, that's right, the long arm of the law, and it is our job to prevent the enemy team players, the criminals, from stealing a package and making it to a getaway point. It's a really fun game mode and a really interesting take on like the classic capture the flag type game. Why it's taking place in the middle of the Florida Everglades, I have no idea, but all I know is justice will be served. And of course, by justice, I mean a whole lot of headshots with this Scout Elite sniper rifle. This is the starting sniper rifle, and it's actually pretty good. I love the way sniping is handled in Battlefield Hardline, as opposed to the way it was handled in Battlefield 4 and even Battlefield 3. But this thing is awesome. It's a bolt action that's a 2-shot kill to the body, or a 1-shot kill if you manage to get a headshot. And it's overall just a really easy to handle sniper rifle that feels good, and I'm really enjoying using it. I know we don't usually have a lot of sniper gameplays go up on the channel, but I figured you guys might enjoy it. But alright, that's enough talk about Battlefield. I know you guys saw the title of this video, and if you have been invested in gaming news at all over the past week, you'll know that the big story this week was, of course, Nintendo. Nintendo over the course of the last week has announced that they are going to be making games for mobile platforms. Mobile platforms, of course, meaning iPhone, Android, or any operating systems like that. Now, this has caused a fair bit of uproar in the gaming community over the past couple of days. You know, some people are really excited about this. Some people are saying, you know, finally, Nintendo's finally getting into the mobile market. And I feel it should be said, Nintendo is not abandoning the console market a la Sega. They are still, you know, a first-party house. They are still going to be making consoles. They are still going to be making their primary games for their own consoles. But they are just going to be also producing somewhat first-party titles for mobile markets now. Are you confused yet? Well, you should be, because Nintendo themselves weren't very clear about it. And of course, we have people in the other camp who are like, this is the worst thing I have ever heard of. Nintendo on mobile? That's absolute blasphemy. You know, a lot of people just can't imagine or just don't like the idea of a Nintendo first-party title being produced for, you know, an iPhone or an Android phone. I mean, for some of you longtime Nintendo fans out there, imagine like Super Mario World, the Super Nintendo classic, for your iPhone. Feels kind of weird, doesn't it? And as a longtime Nintendo fan myself, I can definitely agree with that sentiment. You know, it does seem kind of weird to have your first-party Nintendo titles pop up on the Google Play Store. But regardless of which side of the fence you find yourself on, Nintendo seems to be going mobile, at least in some small aspect. And seeing as how that's the case, we're going to talk a little bit about that and what it might mean for some of Nintendo's franchises. Now, despite these big announcements, there really isn't much that Nintendo gave us to go on, so there's a lot of hypotheticals going on here. They did make mention that they're not going to be porting any of their older game titles or their retro, you know, classic game titles over to the mobile market, so that whole Super Mario World hypothetical probably isn't going to happen. Instead, they said they're going to be creating all new games for the mobile market, utilizing their first-party brands. Now, this could actually be a very good thing in my opinion. Personally, the last thing I would want is watered-down ports of my favorite mobile Mario games like Super Mario Land or Super Mario 3D Land being ported over to a mobile market where, you know, games on phones, even nowadays, generally don't run very well, and platformers are not very easy to play, so I wouldn't want a watered-down version of Super Mario on the phone. And the same can be said for most of Nintendo's other franchises. Thankfully, what it's looking like is they're going to be making a derivative work, sort of like Pokemon Shuffle or even the Pokemon trading card game, both of which are on mobile markets right now. And that overall, I think, could be a very good thing. You know, smaller games based on Nintendo's first-party IP that give you a taste of what those games are like on the bigger, better consoles like the Wii U or the Nintendo 3DS. Essentially, I could see Nintendo using this as a method to get people's foot in the door in terms of Nintendo-based gaming. You know, hook them in with some weird Match 3 Nintendo-based puzzler on Android and iPhone, and then let them know, hey, the bigger, better version of this IP is right here on the Nintendo 3DS or the Wii U. You know, sort of using the mobile market to drive those home console sales. From a business standpoint, I think that would be brilliant. And then, you know, there's the flip side of that where Nintendo might just start making dedicated mobile games. opening up development houses to work alongside their home console market to just make games for mobile and make bank off of selling those because, you know, we may not as hardcore gamers like it, but the mobile gaming market is pretty big and they sell pretty well. So I really see nothing but dollar signs and money in the future with this mobile deal for Nintendo. And for the games, you know, I am a little bit worried about the type of games, the quality of games that are going to be coming out, but for the most part, I have faith in Nintendo, and if they're going to be doing mobile stuff, I hope they do it well. But of course, until they come out with an official statement on the types of games that they're going to be making for their mobile market, it's all speculation. Nobody knows. But alright, the other big announcement that came out of Nintendo this week is of course that they are working on their next big home console, codenamed the Nintendo NX. Oh yeah, that's right people, start up that rumor mill, get the hype train fueled up and ready to go. Now in classic Nintendo fashion, they basically just announced an announcement. Basically that they will be talking a little bit more about this console probably starting next year. Until then, we just know that it's being worked on, but honestly, as Nintendo fans, I think that's generally enough to get our hype going. And really, talk of a new console already? The Wii U just launched back in 2012, it's not even really 3 years old. But all the same, a brand new console is in the works, and if it's even half as innovative as the Wii U was and still is, well, we all have reason to be excited. Hopefully this time around, third-party companies will show it a little bit more love. I mean, as great as the Wii U is, there really just was not enough to play on it for its first 2 years. But with the prospect of a new mobile market and a brand new console in the works, it looks like there's going to be no lack of Nintendo games in the future. But that's pretty much it for the news, guys. Make sure to let me know how you feel about Nintendo jumping into the mobile market and having a brand new console come out within the next few years, very possibly, in the comment section below. Do you hate the idea, or do you love it? Regardless of what side of the fence you find yourself on, make sure to let me know how you feel in the comment section below. Anyways, it's going to be it for this one, guys. As always, I am the Black Link. You guys stay frosty.